Welcome back to the Giornate del Cinema Muto, the Pordenone Silent Film Festival. We're glad to have you. Here I'm at the bar Posta, which is the social hub of the film festival every year. We're just across the street from the Teatro Verdi where the screenings take place, and after the screenings, in between screenings, it's common for everybody to come here to grab a drink, chat about the films that we've just seen, about projects to come. It's an exciting, energetic place to be, and we hope to see you here next year. Today we've got two films for you, a short and a feature. The short film is a 1915 American film called TOODLES, Tom and Trouble. It's by the Thanhouser Company, which was one of the studios that had largely been forgotten for various reasons, but thanks to the incredible efforts of Ned Thanhouser, obviously from the same family, Ned has worked so hard at refinding all the films in the world's archives from his family's company. He's done a remarkable job of bringing back a company that had been forgotten to life. This is a film, it's a delightful film that we're going to be seeing. It stars a man named Colin Campbell, who is not the same Colin Campbell who's directing the film that we're going to be seeing after. For those of you who are animal lovers, I promise you, really, I promise you, that Lady the collie does not get harmed. She, after this, made this film. She's in other films as well, so don't worry. I'm also quite sensitive to these things. She's fine. After the film, we have the feature, Where Lights Are Low, a 1921 film, also an exciting discovery. This is a film starring the great Japanese film star Sessue Hayakawa, who was the first Asian global superstar. The film was discovered in Belgrade with Croatian intertitles. When the National Film Archive of Japan found out that the film was discovered, they asked for a copy, and they're the ones that have restored the film and are able to present it to us now. It's a marvelous film on multiple levels. Colin Campbell is not a terribly well-known director, but really here you see his sensitivity to how the film is framed, to the atmospheric qualities of the film, but also it's a wonderful example of the aura of the star Hayakawa, who sometimes uneasily had to balance between being a matinee movie idol with being a representative of a kind of ethnic identity. So here you see him, for example, in wonderful, handsome white tie and tails, looking the epitome of elegance, the epitome of the matinee movie idol, and then he's suddenly in very ethnicized clothes. In this film, he plays a Chinese prince. Of course, the actor himself was Japanese. In fact, almost the entire cast is Japanese actors living in the United States. But as happened many times, these are people who were forced to play different ethnicities. Back in the silent era, there was very little understanding of why that might be problematic. Obviously, we have a better understanding of that today, and that's something I hope that we'll be talking about after the film when we have our discussion. In this case, the film, he starts off as a prince in China. The woman that he loves is kidnapped and taken to San Francisco, where she's sold basically in a kind of slave trafficking market. Now, we might think this is a terrible exaggeration, but in the late 19th century, there was this real fear. And if you read the newspapers from the time, you do see that there were these human traffickers who were in San Francisco who were Chinese. This became an example of anti-Chinese racism in the way that it was presented, even if part of it was truthful. But then it became built up to the point where it was an exaggeration. And if you have a chance, there's an absolutely wonderful article in the Honolulu Advertiser from 1921, so the same year that the film was made, which talks about a tour guide going through San Francisco's Chinatown, telling everybody, scaring everybody, saying, look, this is a den of iniquity. This is where the slave traders ply their trade. All of this nonsense, which people who are in the know, like the policemen who are also there, just chuckle at. So it's an exaggeration, but it's an exaggeration that was already in the public mentality, which is why, as you see it in the film, keep that in mind, that yes, it seems a little bit ridiculous, but this was a concern and had been a concern for at least 20 years. In any event, We have the wonderful Philip Carley from Rochester, New York, who's going to be playing for us, who has already played for us, I should say, because this has been recorded recently, for both films. And do join us afterwards, because we'll be having Philip Daisuke Miyao, who's written a marvelous biography of Sessue Hayakawa, as well as a new film on early Japonism in early cinema. He'll be joining us as well for a discussion about the film, and I do hope that you ask some questions. See you then.